Picture yourself waking up every morning with an absolutely clear sense of direction, unshaken by failures, unbothered by the noise surrounding you, and completely locked in on what genuinely matters. It sounds almost supernatural, right? Yet this was the daily reality for one of the most influential figures in ancient times, Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher. His private writings, a collection that has survived thousands of years, are not simply the thoughts of a forgotten era, but are surprisingly useful guidance on how to build unshakable self-discipline amid the distractions of modern life. Today, we are going to go deep into the core of Stoicism, exploring its ideas not as distant theories, but as real tools for living a more focused and meaningful life. Stoicism shows us how to turn hardship into strength, emotional chaos into calm, and life's unpredictability into a source of personal power. Whether you are overwhelmed by daily pressure, searching for inner stillness, or trying to boost your productivity, the Stoic approach to life offers incredibly valuable lessons. In a world overflowing with constant distraction and the temptation of instant satisfaction, Stoic philosophy anchors us in the virtues of wisdom, courage, justice, and self-control. It is about far more than simply surviving life. It is about genuinely thriving in it, no matter what circumstances come your way. So if you are ready to completely change how you approach and respond to life's difficulties, stay with us as we unpack the deeply transformative teachings of Marcus Aurelius and how you can use them to build a stronger, more disciplined life today. As we begin this journey through Stoic philosophy and the enduring wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, if you appreciate the work we do here, a simple and free thing you can do is hit the subscribe button. Also, please do not skip any part of this video, because if you are here, you are already different from most people. Consider yourself someone special and stay with us for the powerful insights we are about to uncover together. At the foundation of Marcus Aurelius's thinking is the conviction that self-discipline starts with knowing your purpose. But what does it actually mean to find your purpose? It means discovering what genuinely matters to you, what fires you up at your deepest level, and aligning your everyday actions with that larger mission. Marcus Aurelius frequently wrote about living in harmony with nature, which in Stoic language means understanding your place in the bigger picture and acting in line with your core values. For Aurelius, purpose was not some grand, abstract idea, but a working compass that directed every choice he made, from the smallest to the most significant. He believed that knowing one's purpose is what pulls you out of bed each morning, prepared to take on whatever the day brings. It is what keeps you steady when temptations try to pull you off course. And it is not about massive achievements or praise from others. It is about fulfilling the responsibilities life has placed before you and carrying out every task with dedication and integrity. In a modern setting, figuring out your purpose can feel like an overwhelming task. We exist in a world absolutely packed with options and distractions that can easily steer us away from what truly matters. This is precisely where Stoic wisdom becomes not just helpful, but completely necessary. Stoicism teaches us to strip away surface-level desires and passing emotions to uncover what is truly essential for our growth and well-being. It pushes us to ask ourselves questions like, what genuinely deserves my time and attention, and how do my choices today serve something greater and support my personal development? As you think about how to put this into practice, consider what draws you naturally, where you find real satisfaction, or what kind of problems you genuinely feel driven to solve. These are signals pointing toward your purpose. Once you identify it, the Stoic habit of daily reflection becomes extremely valuable. By consistently aligning your actions with your purpose, saying no to what does not serve it, and saying yes to what does, you build the self-discipline needed to live a life that is both meaningful and powerful. Take this insight from Marcus Aurelius and apply it every single day. Ask yourself each morning, what am I here to accomplish today? And each evening, whether you have actually lived according to your purpose. Over time, this habit will not only strengthen your self-discipline, but completely reshape your life into something far more purposeful and rewarding. When Marcus Aurelius spoke about self-discipline, one theme that kept returning in his reflections was the importance of relying on yourself. Counting on yourself is not simply about being independent. It is a central element of Stoic philosophy, which places enormous value on personal accountability and self-reliance. This is not about shutting others out or refusing help when needed. Rather, it is about recognizing that the ultimate responsibility for your actions, your reactions, and your personal growth rests squarely with you. In Stoicism, the concept of directing your attention toward what you can control is absolutely central. Aurelius frequently discussed the inner strength available to each of us when facing whatever life presents. By counting on ourselves, we tap into a deep well of personal resilience. This principle trains us to trust in our own capabilities to navigate life's uncertainties and difficulties. It is about building genuine confidence, not through ego, but through actual skill and a thorough knowledge of your own character and abilities. This kind of self-reliance is both freeing and challenging. In our modern world, where opinions and advice are constantly flooding in from every direction, learning to trust your own inner voice can be genuinely difficult. However, Stoicism teaches us to filter out the noise and rely on our own reasoned judgment. Aurelius believed that this internal guidance was the most trustworthy counsel a person could receive, because it is grounded in reason and virtue. By counting on ourselves, we also develop true independence in how we make decisions. This allows us to choose in ways that reflect our actual values and principles, rather than being pulled around by outside pressures or temporary feelings. This independence is essential for keeping personal integrity intact and for living a life that is truly your own. So how do you actually start counting on yourself? It begins with small commitments, making them and keeping them, setting personal goals and pursuing them on your own terms, and taking time to reflect honestly on your choices and whether they align with your core values. Over time, these habits build self-discipline, making you stronger and more grounded when life gets difficult. Marcus Aurelius consistently emphasized the value of persistence, of showing up not just physically but fully every single day. This is not about making occasional massive efforts, but about the quiet, steady commitment to daily tasks that together build a disciplined life. For Aurelius, showing up every day was the living expression of the Stoic idea of acting in harmony with nature. To him, nature required not merely our existence, but our active participation in life, contributing to the world through our actions, however small or routine they might seem. Each day was not an arena for grand victories, but for proving one's loyalty to one's own principles and responsibilities. It is in consistency, in the daily effort, where real character is shaped and tested. In today's world, where distractions are everywhere and motivation comes and goes, the practice of showing up every day carries even deeper significance. It is easy to feel energized one day and completely lost the next. Here, Stoicism gives us something precious, the understanding that it is not the intensity of our actions, but the regularity of them that creates true discipline. This does not mean every day needs to be some peak performance. Rather, It means not allowing a single day to pass unnoticed or unused. Whether you are building a career, improving your health, or deepening your relationships, progress in any area comes from the deceptively simple commitment of showing up every day. Beyond that, showing up every day is deeply connected to the Stoic practice of mindfulness, being fully present in the current moment and doing today's work today without dragging in yesterday's failures or tomorrow's worries. Marcus Aurelius wrote extensively about staying focused on the present and doing the task at hand as well as possible. This focused attention is what turns daily routine into meaningful ritual and consistent effort into real improvement. To build this discipline, start small. Decide what showing up means for you personally. It might be writing a single paragraph of that book you have been planning, doing a 5-minute workout, or spending 10 uninterrupted minutes truly connecting with someone you love. The size of the action is not what changes you. It is the act of showing up itself every single day. Each time you honor that commitment, you strengthen your willpower and build the resilience that defines Stoic living. By adopting this daily practice, you embody the Stoic belief in personal responsibility and ongoing self-improvement. You become living proof that while we cannot always control what happens to us, we can absolutely control our effort and our consistency. This Stoic practice, strongly championed by Marcus Aurelius, is about far more than just making life deliberately harder. It is about preparing yourself for the unpredictable nature of life, strengthening your inner resilience, and developing a genuine appreciation for what you already have. Marcus Aurelius, like many Stoics, believed that choosing to experience discomfort voluntarily fortifies the mind against the times when life forces discomfort upon us without warning. This might mean giving up certain luxuries, taking on physical challenges, or simply practicing restraint in small, everyday decisions. The reasoning is clear and logical. If you are already familiar with hardship, sudden adversity will not knock you over. You are essentially training your resilience, building the mental muscles that allow you to meet life's challenges with calm and composure. But why would anyone choose discomfort in a world that is constantly trying to offer us more comfort? The answer is found in the very heart of Stoic philosophy. Growth tends to happen just beyond the boundaries of our comfort. By voluntarily stepping into less comfortable situations, we both test our mental and emotional limits and expand them. This practice is not about punishing yourself. It is about shifting your perspective, moving from seeing comfort as a basic need to recognizing it as a luxury you can choose to go without. In practicing voluntary hardship, you also cultivate deep gratitude. It is very easy to take everyday comforts for granted, but when you occasionally live without them, you start to appreciate them in a much more genuine way. Something as simple as skipping a meal can make you more grateful for the food you have, or choosing to walk rather than drive can deepen your appreciation for your body and its health. Moreover, voluntary hardship connects us to the reality that millions of people around the world live with involuntarily every day. This connection builds empathy, humility, and a more grounded understanding of the shared human experience. So how can you bring this practice into your own life? Begin small. Choose something manageable. Maybe wake up an hour earlier than usual. Limit your use of technology for a day, or take the stairs instead of the elevator. The size of the hardship is not the point. What matters is the consistency and the intention behind it. Every act of voluntary discomfort is a step toward greater mental strength and true self-discipline. This principle draws a clear line between what is and what is not within our control, and it pushes us to invest our energy entirely in the former. This seemingly straightforward idea can profoundly change how we approach life's difficulties, lowering anxiety and building a deeper sense of peace and inner strength. So what exactly is within our control? According to Stoicism, it is essentially our own actions, reactions, and judgments, our thoughts, our will, our responses. These are the areas where we genuinely have power. Everything outside of that, the weather, what other people do, events happening in the world, lies beyond our direct control. Marcus Aurelius returned to this point again and again in his meditations, noting that becoming disturbed by things outside our control is not only pointless, but actively harmful to our well-being. Practicing this principle begins with that recognition. While we can influence external events, we cannot fully control them. The Stoic learns to accept this truth, not passively, but as something genuinely freeing. By focusing on our own choices and releasing our attachment to outcomes, we can stay calm and effective no matter the circumstances. This does not mean becoming emotionally detached or indifferent to the world. Rather, we engage with it more constructively, channeling our energy where it can actually produce results. In everyday life, applying this means pausing before reacting to any situation and asking yourself, is this actually within my control? If it is not, the Stoic approach is to release it and move forward. This is far easier to say than to do, of course. It requires real practice, mindfulness, and the occasional reminder to return to what truly lies within your reach. This principle also reshapes how we approach goals and measure success. While we work hard to achieve our aims, tying our happiness or sense of worth to outcomes shaped by countless external factors is a setup for constant frustration. Instead, Stoicism teaches us to find satisfaction in the effort itself, in staying true to our values, and in the quality of energy we bring to what we do. Marcus Aurelius and other Stoic thinkers never promised a life without difficulty. They offered something far more valuable, a strategy for maintaining inner peace and dignity, regardless of whether life is going well or falling apart. By practicing this principle, we not only improve our own lives, but also naturally influence those around us through our quiet example of calm and resilience in the face of life's unavoidable uncertainties. This concept centers on a deep understanding of personal responsibility and the Stoic commitment to mastering oneself. Rather than falling into a victim mindset, where one sees themselves as a helpless recipient of whatever life throws at them, Stoicism calls us to take firm ownership of our perceptions and our responses. This sense of empowerment is at the very heart of the Stoic belief that our happiness and peace of mind depend far more on our inner state than on anything happening around us. The idea here is not to pretend that difficulties or injustices do not exist. Rather, it is about shifting attention from what happens to us toward how we choose to respond to what happens. Aurelius believed that every external event presents us with a choice. How will we allow this to define us? By refusing to see ourselves as victims, we reject the idea that our emotional well-being is controlled by outside circumstances. This is a liberating realization, one that opens the door to significant personal growth and lasting resilience. To practice this, begin by paying attention to your habitual responses when things go wrong. Do you immediately look for someone or something else to blame? Do you invest your energy in complaining rather than in actually addressing the situation? Changing these patterns is not about suppressing your feelings. It is about understanding them more honestly and redirecting your energy in ways that are actually useful. It means acknowledging your pain and disappointment while also recognizing your capacity to keep moving despite them. This Stoic teaching also invites us to see every obstacle as a chance to practice virtue and strengthen character. That perspective is fundamentally active and empowering. It converts potential feelings of helplessness into moments of genuine choice, where we can assert our agency. Every challenge becomes a test of our commitment to our values, an opportunity to demonstrate courage, determination, and resilience, which are the qualities at the core of Stoic living. By never playing the victim, we embody the Stoic ideal of emotional independence. We build an inner fortress of calm and steadiness from which we can engage with the world more fully and honestly. This does not mean becoming without emotion or cold toward life. It means reaching a place where our happiness is not constantly at the mercy of what goes wrong. In this way, we live not as subjects of our circumstances, but in alignment with our deepest principles, no matter what life brings our way. Marcus Aurelius championed this principle not merely as a personal discipline, but as a path to real freedom and satisfaction. In the Stoic view, mastering your impulses by learning to delay gratification is not about denying yourself pleasure. It is about achieving a deeper and more lasting kind of fulfillment, one that is in line with your values and long-term vision. Delayed gratification, in the Stoic sense, means strategically postponing immediate desires in order to gain something more significant and enduring in return. It is about making choices that may not feel rewarding right now, but lead to lasting well-being and real personal growth. This principle is especially important in our modern world of instant everything, where the capacity to wait, to hold back for something better, has become both rare and tremendously valuable. For Stoics like Aurelius, practicing delayed gratification was also about maintaining mastery over one's own desires. He believed that being a slave to fleeting pleasures meant losing genuine freedom, that you become trapped by your own impulses. By instead making choices guided by reason and foresight, we build a life not of temporary highs, but of lasting contentment and inner peace. Putting delayed gratification into practice in daily life can start with simple habits. It might mean saving money rather than spending it the moment you feel the urge, choosing a nourishing meal over fast food, or dedicating time to develop a skill instead of defaulting to immediate entertainment. Each of these choices reinforces the Stoic habit of prioritizing lasting benefits over short-term ease. And the rewards of this practice go far beyond philosophy. Research in psychology strongly supports the Stoic position, linking the ability to delay gratification to better outcomes across career, education, health, and personal relationships. People who can pause and wait tend to manage stress better, achieve more of their goals, and live healthier and more fulfilling lives overall. This concept goes well beyond simply ignoring negative comments. It is about building a mental resilience that allows you to stay grounded in your convictions and focused on your goals, even when doubt and criticism come at you from every direction. For Stoics, the approval or disapproval of others lies outside our control, and therefore cannot be the source of our personal validation or guidance. Marcus Aurelius wrote extensively about concentrating only on what lies within your own control, stressing that genuine peace comes from within and cannot be disturbed by the judgments of those around you. This Stoic indifference to outside opinion is not about dismissing or disrespecting others. It is about maintaining an internal anchor, a stable center from which you operate. It encourages us to filter out the noise that does not serve our deeper goals or align with our values. In practical terms, this becomes especially critical in today's world, where opinions are everywhere and criticism can reach you with the tap of a finger.
It means learning to recognize the difference between feedback that is genuinely helpful and informed and baseless criticism that simply should not be allowed to redirect your path. That distinction is vital. Stoicism teaches us to evaluate where criticism is coming from and what it is actually motivated by. Is it well-informed? Is it offered with care? Does it actually connect with your core values? Practicing this principle also means developing a personal philosophy strong enough to hold up under outside pressure. It is about being secure in your decisions and actions, not out of stubbornness or arrogance, but out of a deep and honest understanding of your own values and objectives. This is what Marcus Aurelius practiced every day, not just as a ruler, but as a person genuinely striving to live with virtue in a complicated world. The ability to tune out those who simply want to bring you down also builds emotional resilience, making you less reactive to negativity and more locked in on your long-term vision. In a culture that often rewards social approval and validation, stepping outside that cycle and staying true to yourself is both uncommon and tremendously powerful. In embracing the Stoic practice of ignoring those who only seek to diminish you, we are not just protecting our mental space, we are actively choosing where to invest our emotional energy, refusing to let outside noise drown out the internal voice that truly shapes who we become. This concept is rooted in the belief that much of our learning and personal development comes from closely observing and reflecting on the lives of those who have already mastered the virtues we wish to develop. Emulating wise individuals is not about blindly copying them, it is about studying their example to deepen our own character and sharpen our own judgment. Marcus Aurelius, despite holding the most powerful position in the known world, frequently wrote about his admiration for the qualities he saw in others, both from his own era and from history. He understood that emulating these figures was a way of internalizing their strengths and their virtues. For him, and for other Stoics, wisdom was never just theoretical knowledge. It was a practical guide for living well, best understood through the actual behavior of those who had genuinely applied these principles in their own lives. In Stoic terms, choosing who to emulate means looking for those who embody the core virtues: wisdom, courage, justice, and moderation. These might be historical figures, people in your own life, or even well-drawn characters from literature who demonstrate qualities such as resilience, ethical integrity, and clear thinking. The key is to look for individuals whose lives give you a real roadmap for facing difficulty with grace and determination. Applying this in your own life today means being thoughtful and intentional about who your role models are, choosing people whose values genuinely line up with your aspirations. It is about far more than admiration. It means carefully studying how these individuals navigate their lives, how they make decisions, and how they handle adversity. This practice encourages you to constantly ask yourself, what about this person's approach or mindset could I apply in my own life to improve how I act and choose? Beyond that, emulating wise individuals helps close the gap between abstract philosophical ideas and concrete everyday behavior. It gives you a living, breathing example of how Stoic principles can actually be applied. This makes those ideals not only more accessible, but more compelling, because you can see the real and tangible impact of Stoic virtues in the lives of people you deeply respect. In seeking out and deliberately following the example of wise people, you are engaging in one of the most powerful forms of learning and self-development. It is a forward-leaning approach to becoming a better person, one that reinforces your commitment to growth and to excellence. By surrounding yourself with the influence of people of genuine virtue, you set a high standard for your own behavior and choices,
pushing yourself steadily toward becoming the kind of wise person you have always admired. This practice is not merely about running through the events of your day. It involves a genuinely deep and honest examination of your thoughts, your actions, and your responses throughout the hours just past. It is about honestly assessing whether those behaviors were truly in line with your values and with the Stoic virtues of wisdom, justice, courage, and moderation. This reflective process is crucial because it serves as a feedback loop, helping you become increasingly aware of what you are actually doing and why. For Stoics, the purpose of this daily review is not to dwell on mistakes or punish yourself with self-criticism. It is to observe clearly and to adjust. It is about learning from each day's experiences and using those lessons to continuously refine yourself. Marcus Aurelius used this practice as a way to ensure that he was not only fulfilling his duties as emperor, but was also growing as a thinker and as a human being. Bringing this habit into modern life can be genuinely transformative. It encourages you to end each day with a quiet moment of honest reflection. During that time, ask yourself a few key questions. How did I respond to the difficulties today? Did I act in accordance with my principles? What could I have handled better? Were there moments when I lost control of myself? And if so, why? Sitting with these questions builds greater self-awareness and helps guide you toward living with more intention and purpose. This practice also brings a real sense of peace and closure at the end of each day. It allows you to confront lingering thoughts and unresolved tensions directly, rather than carrying them silently into the next morning. In our fast-paced world, where it is alarmingly easy to lose sight of your deeper goals in the rush of daily demands and distractions, this kind of deliberate reflection becomes not just helpful, but essential. By reviewing your day honestly, you engage in a form of self-accountability that is both firm and compassionate. It is about recognizing where you showed strength and honestly acknowledging where you could improve, all without harsh judgment. This Stoic habit steadily builds wisdom and resilience because it trains you to be both the student and the teacher in the ongoing story of your own life, always learning from what you experience and always moving closer to the virtues you hold dear. Over time, this nightly practice can change not only how you see your days, but how you live your entire life, bringing you steadily closer, day by day, to the ideals that matter most to you. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the heart of Stoicism and the timeless wisdom of Marcus Aurelius. Remember that every day is a fresh opportunity to know yourself better and to live more fully by the virtues that define a life well lived. If you want to explore more, check out one of the suggested videos on your screen. Your presence here means a great deal, and we are grateful for it. Until next time, keep living with intention and wisdom.